You know that feeling you have when you just found a new favorite? Well, I have it. Hello, beautiful bookworms! My name is Katarina and welcome to my channel. And today I'm going to be doing a review for what is possibly tied as my favorite manga series right now. I don't know, but aren't you excited? I am excited. So, in the month of June, I actually tackled a manga series that I had in this house for a while now that I haven't picked up yet. I was afraid that it wasn't amazing since I haven't heard anyone talk about this manga, but I had some expectations because the premise looked nice, the art was incredibly beautiful from what I have seen, and I wanted to know, I wanted to read, I wanted to get to know this manga series. And what were the odds? I can truthfully say I've only read 3 volumes of it, and thank the Lord the series is still coming, so it had an hiatus, but the volume 4th and 5th are already confirmed and coming out. I can safely say it's one of my favorite manga series. Actually, it might be tied with another series for my top 1 favorite manga series. At the moment, I don't know how this will change or not with the progression of the series, but I thought those are grounds for actually doing a review for this. So you will probably not know the manga series that I'm talking about since I haven't heard anyone talk about this, which is shocking in a book community because this is all about books. Yeah, I know, groundbreaking. But the series that I'm talking about is called Magus of the Library, and this is by Mitsu Izumi, and wow, is this series incredible. First of all, I have to say this is not an original work. This is based on a book, I believe, called Kafna of the Wind, and that book is by Sophie Schwim, and it was translated by Hiroto Hamada, and this author, Mitsu Izumi, basically took the idea and did a manga on it. However, I have not read the original work, but I'm very intrigued to get to know it since this work is so amazing and I'm loving it so much. However, I think that the artwork of this author, this mangaka, and the story itself, the way it's being adapted to manga, is just incredible and beautiful, and I truly think it should be given more attention. And it could also give more attention to the actual supposed book that this is based off. So why not read it? I mean, you know that I wanted to read this, right? So currently in English, Magus of the Library only has 3 volumes. These 3 volumes comprise the first main arc of the series, at least in my understanding, since I haven't read any more because there hasn't been any more. The last one of this was published in 2019. So this was kind of giving me the feels that I will not have more manga to read. However, I went and checked on Goodreads, and volume 4 and volume 5 already have a cover in Japanese, and I have heard that there's a possibility that it's actually coming out in English very, very soon, perhaps this year. So I am fairly excited to continue to read this. So let me present to you the covers of the volumes, and then I will get a little bit into the story because I don't want to spoil you for this, since I do believe that the pleasure of getting into this manga series will be getting blindly into it as I did. So here we have volume 1, a beautiful, gorgeous volume, volume 2, and volume 3. Here they are, the 3 first volumes. So because they're fairly big and heavy, I will just hold up the first one because it's the first one and it had a lot of impact on me, and it was what propelled me to read the next. So Magus of the Library is the story about this blonde boy who has strange ears. And you get to know that he is a mixed-race boy, so he is half of a race and half of another race. 2 races that actually hated each other, and people don't really know how he was born since those 2 didn't get along at all. So it's a little bit of a star-crossed lovers thing. We don't know a lot about his past. We only know that he lives with his sister in this not very rich village, but he is still one of the poorest people that live in that village. However, he's always trying to get into the library because his dream is to actually be able to read all of the stories that are in the library and to be able to hold a book, to get a book from the library and then to return it safely because he loves the written word. And one day a series of events happen for him to meet a Kafna, which is someone that works at the Great Central Library. So the Great Central Library is like an independent region where a lot of people from all of the ethnicities of this world are there, and all of the Kafnas that work on that great library are charged with protecting the books, developing the knowledge, and disseminate it throughout everywhere, search for new books, and just, be the protectors and the developers of knowledge and culture. And so one day he meets one of these people, and that person tells him that he cannot wait to be the hero of his own story. He has to make himself the hero of his story, and that will make people respect him. And in that way, he can live the story that he always wanted to live, which already in the beginning of this series is a very profound message, because I feel like all of us people that are bookish, we are all sort of waiting, and we all take refuge on our books because we all live this mundane, normal life, which is not terrible and it's not bad. I like my life. However, we are all expecting for something great to happen, and we're all sort of hoping that someday we'll meet someone that will change our life forever and that will make us go into an adventure and have an entire different life, when really we should be the ones taking hold of our story amidst our possibilities, of course, and try to change the way we see life, the way we approach people, and the way that we create our own lives. And that already was super impactful for me because I am one of these people. I live surrounded by books. I consider books to be my best friends. And sincerely, sometimes I feel like books are there for me every time, which might not be the best approach and the best therapeutic approach to life, but it's a refuge. It's something that you have when everything in your life is sort of going down, or even when you're happy. It's stories, and stories make you live and breathe differently, different areas, different people, different cultures, different knowledges. And I honestly think that I couldn't live the way that I live now without my books. So this series already has a tremendous impact on me because it is about someone that can't live without books, and his biggest desire is to get a book out of the library and read it. How beautiful is that? So after this meeting, our boy wants to become a Kafna as well, and so we will follow him through his sort of adventures and tests in order to become a Kafna. But at the same time, there's a secondary plot going on under this main plot with our main character that has to do with political, social, and even, let's say, prejudice development of this society that has to do with magic and has to do with possible wars between people, clans, races, and how can a stop be put to that. So I am not going to divulge a lot into that because it's something that we figure out throughout the 3 books, and probably more throughout the rest of the books, because there are a lot of things that aren't answered yet, and it's beautiful to discover it step by step and to understand what the story is trying to transmit us. So I'm just going to leave you with this brief synopsis, and I do hope that you pick this up. But apart from being a story about books and the love of books, this is also a very diverse story. We have characters that are from all of the different types of regions around the big central library. So all of these people that our main character is going to meet and all of the cultures that they represent in this story, of course, are fictional. However, you can clearly see that they are based in some cultures and in some societies around our world and nowadays world. So it's beautiful to see how our main character through books and through the experience of trying and be the better person that he can be, is actually reaching out to these people, trying to understand their culture and their differences and respect them. And for that reason alone, even if you don't love books and you cannot mix with the actual main plot of this, I think that for that reason alone you should pick this up, since I truly believe that books and knowledge, but not only that, but empathy mainly, and the urge to respect other people that are different than us, and to, even though we don't understand those differences, try to do it and respect them on it, is how we should live. Because we would be so amazing as a human race if we could all respect each other, understand our differences, but try to work to a common good and to all be great together. And I know that this is a little bit of a utopian kind of thing, and maybe this book is just rubbing off on me, but I truly believe that if we put aside some differences that aren't that important, we will see that we are fairly similar, and we just have to respect some differences. There is a situation in volume 2 where someone is marrying another person from a different culture, and the little sister from that family is not accepting well the situation, because the person who's her biggest sister is marrying has different approaches to salutations and to I don't know, just being sympathetic. There are certain traits that the little sister can't understand, are specific traits of his culture. And so for that reason, she shuns him a bit, and she's angry, and she doesn't want her big sister to marry that man who she's in love with, because she can't understand the difference between their cultures. And when she does, it's so profound and beautiful that, seriously, just pick this up and read it, because wow. Also, Magus of the Library, for those of us that are insanely attracted to everything that has to do with books, has a lot of Easter eggs. It does not only mention some novels that do exist in the real world as actual books in the series, it does mention other manga series as well as real series in this manga series. And it does have some art of specific libraries that exist and bookshops that exist in the real world. It does have a Portuguese, very known bookshop that really exists, and the drawing of it is so accurate to what it is that I spend most of the time while reading these volumes saying, I recognize these places, I recognize these supposed books that they're talking about. I was so involved, I was so enthralled in what this was that I didn't want to miss every single bit and piece of this. And they're a bit of a chunky manga series, especially the third one, which is, I mean, gigantic. But they just go by so fast because you are so enthralled in what you're reading that you just feel like you're inside the story, which is something that I haven't felt in a while. Every time that I read, I try to picture myself there with the characters. I mean, not doing anything, but just there. But in here, I felt a part of it. I could understand all of the characters. I could understand all of the action, all of the situation, and I wanted to be a part of this world. It has a beautiful, majestic world building that is still ongoing, so we get bits and pieces, and it's on ourselves to actually try and form a big image of the world. It has a lot of different cultures, it has a lot of different dressings, it has a lot of different ways of people dealing with stuff, which is also important. It has an approach to psychological health, to physical health, to all types of things, to working together, to how we need each other, to how goodbyes are hard, to how our feelings sometimes are hard to communicate. And it just has such beautiful relationships, such beautiful landscapes. And wow, the double pages of this. I have to show you, because just hold on a moment. I mean, the pages that are not double are gorgeous, but the double pages, can you see the art style of this? This is so detailed and beautiful. I will show you some other. It's so emotionally beautiful. So of course, as you might have understood, I deeply, deeply recommend Magus of the Library. I don't know why people don't talk about this too much. Maybe because there's no anime that I know of coming out of this. But I mean, it's not only the things that are animated that are good. There's a lot of backlisted books and mangas and a lot of not so well-known manga series that are also great and that we should actually try and know, because for those of us that love reading and for those of us that love books and manga specifically, this would be great. So I guess I've been here for a while now just raving about this. What I really want to say is that this is a beautiful, diverse story of this beautiful little boy that is a bit like all of us in our heart that love books, and specifically that love manga, because this is a manga, but also that love stories in general, that love to get to know stuff in general. And so for that reason alone, I would tell each and every single one of you, even if it doesn't look like her type of manga, this has a lot of adventures, a lot of action, but it is a slower manga series. And it is a big series, not in terms of size, because for now we only have confirmed until volume 5, but in terms of actual size of volume. So I would tell you, give it a chance. Get the first one, see if you love it, because I really think you will. And if you do, then get into this and just make this a big thing, because these types of stories, the stories that make us want to believe in the possibility of being united with all the cultures and all of us feeling love for books, knowledge, and understanding and empathy for the person that's right next to us or even a little bit more far away. These are the stories that are important. And I'm not saying with this that all of the rest of the stories that we read have no importance, because God knows I have a lot of different tastes in books, but there are stories that touch your soul, and those deserve to be read. So that's all that I have to say for Magus of the Library. I mean, if you don't agree with me, that's fine. We all have different opinions on reading materials, and I respect that. However, I do think that probably most of you will agree with me, since we all love books and we are here for the common love of books. So if you've read this manga series, tell me in the comments down below so that I know it's not that underrated as I think it is. If you've not read this series, tell me if you're considering it maybe. And that's going to be all for today, and happy readings to you all. Bye!